Thanks for staying with us. So, recently, Nigeria's House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence has asked the government to acquire new presidential jets for both the president, Bola Tinubu, and the vice president, Kashim Shettima. This report has triggered a widespread criticism by some Nigerians who questioned the wisdom in buying new airplanes at the time when Nigeria is facing severe economic hardship. However, on the other side of the divide, the argument has been about the safety of the #1 citizen of our country. What are your thoughts on this? There are two sides of this story. You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. You know, when I saw the Punch report and the amount of money that was spent, about over 14 or so billion, in servicing over the last 11 months of these presidential, about 10 of them in the fleet. And it's now clear that all of them cannot be, they cannot be used anymore for the president because obviously they're not in good condition.
19 years.
So we need 19 years. So we need to buy 2 new ones. Now, these 2 new ones, according to the Punch report I read, is going to cost us of almost maybe 100 billion, 100 billion naira. I mean, based on what I saw in the numbers looking at in the Punch. And that's a lot of money. And the question is, do we think it's a good idea to expend such amount at this time, looking at the fact that we also need the safety of our president when he travels? Because whether you like it or not, this is a man that is shopping for foreign investment, asking other countries to see Nigeria as a market for investment. And he can't do that from his office. He needs to go there to see, Yoruba people say, Ojulo Rawa, you have to go there to sell yourself. So what do you guys think? I mean, we are really in that a catch-22 situation. What do I do, this or that? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Who would like to go first?
In order of priority, I'm always thinking in order of priority. Why? Because we are not a country that can afford everything we want, so we must prioritize. When you're making your priorities based on what is most important for me to put money on right now as a person. It's similar to saying a family, a parent has need for a car and you don't want the parents to die, but the children need to eat. So, okay, so should we eat or should we get a car so that there is more safety in order of priority? I also, as a personal person who likes achieving goals, if I want something I know I really need, I will set a goal. Okay, if I sell 50% of my current presidential jets, I will then balance the funds to buy 2 new ones. If I'm able to achieve this amount in revenue as a goal, then I will buy this. Like there must be we can't at this stage, with the way our economy is, with the way Nigerians are growing, have a government say it is too important to protect the life of our #1. And then we would pull funds from other crucial areas to ensure we protect the life of our #1. I would like a government that will be able to tell us that in order to achieve this, our goal, we're going to make A, B, C sacrifice. We have set A, B, C as goals, and we've set over the next 3 months to achieve this goal or the next 1 year. Because even if you order the plane, it will still take a year before the plane will come in. So it means that over the next few months, the president will still have to fly private or use or manage what he has. So within the next 1 year, we can actually set a goal that we want to make this revenue available to us by doing A, B, C, D, specific goals. They go for it. The people that are all working on that agenda, the entire country knows we are working towards our goal. Remember when we see developed countries, when they are working towards going to the moon or working towards achieving one goal or the other, the entire country knows this is our goal. The president will have 2 new jets when we achieve A, B, C, D. That way we are all involved. But if the president makes any move right now towards acquiring that jet without communicating with the people in a way that puts them first, they will look at it and say, it's in his pockets. This their new hope. It's a new hope that suits them and not suits renewed hope. See, I've not even bought into the...
You never
I am a Nigerian. I bought into it and I believe in renewed hope. So I can tell you when I'm sleeping, renewed hope. Yeah.
I believe in the renewed hope agenda, actually. See, the thing is, I know that things are tough, but I've looked at this based on the information before us, what I've heard conversations. I am of the opinion that it is not is not a bad thing for the presidency to consider changing the jets, because we're talking about their safety here. And you know, I try to look at it. Let all of us, you know, let's go home. Recently, my family made a purchase that was quite an expensive purchase, but it was a business decision.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It is something that in the long run will do better for the family. But at this time, when we did it, it cost a lot of money to do it. As we all know, things are hard. But we could use that money to do small things, just trying to get things, or we'll take this money and make this big purchase. We will be tight on us right now, but in the long run will be better for us. So now, the president travels, whether we like it or not. All presidents in all over the world, they do that. All presidents all over the world need a safe mode of transportation to make international travels, right? And we know that that's the jets. And if we have a 19-year-old jet, and if it has been recommended by the appropriate bodies that they do not think it is safe anymore, you know, to be used for such long flights, to the point that, you know, our vice president has taken some commercial flights because of the safety of this particular jet, I think we should put that into consideration. Except we're saying for the president and the vice president not to make those trips anymore. Except we're saying that we do not see the economic benefits of those trips anymore. But we do know that these are important trips. They have diplomatic and economic impact on our country. We cannot have a whole country like as big as Nigeria is and say that we're stranded because we cannot make, you know, because our planes, we cannot make those trips. So I understand that things are tough, but sometimes in tough times, we make some tough decisions for the long run. So the amount, they have also explained to us that the amount of money spent in the maintenance of this jet, you know, because of the state that they're in, will cost us a lot more in the long run than investing in this jet. As uncomfortable and as whatever as this is, I feel, honestly, that this is the better way to go.
Okay. Comes here, Abigail, your thoughts.
This brings me, I think we all share the same sentiment, but this brings me to accountability. Now, apart from the 11 months we talked about, from previous administrations, I have seen that they earmarked certain amounts of billions for the maintenance of this aircraft. And we all know, even the cars we drive, we know we have to do maintenance at some point or the other. And if there are people that are supposed to be in the know as to how the operationalism of this aircraft, and they've been earmarking this amount of money for a period of time, and yet it's in this state that it can be used, then I think questions should be asked. Because we can't keep saying we budgeted 1.6 billion, 3.2 billion, this billion, and all that, and nobody gives account of how was it used, what did you use it for, why is this in this state, even after budgeting this much for this stuff. So I don't think it's not okay for the president to fly safe. These are the trips he must make. But I also think that while we also talk about making sacrifices and cutting down on cost of everything. We saw recently the merging of the NDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies to cut down. I think there are other things we could do, just as Marian has, Tokwe has said, that we can actually cut down on some of those expenses. Let's look inward. What are the things you can actually cut short on for this period of 6 months or 1 year, and for us to gather enough to do this? Because taking our debt profile is already very high. I hear 121 over 121 trillion already. So taking these loans to service non-reproductive projects is not really nice.
You know, there's also that school of thought that if you don't buy it now, it's going to get more expensive in future. What you don't do now, if you don't fix it now, if you don't buy it now, the amount of money, the value of the plane today. If you try to buy it in 2 years' time, the right are about to commit about 100 billion. If it's next year, 2 years' time, you like to do 200 billion, depending on inflation. But let me take this call. I hear that I have a caller. Good morning. Thanks for calling. From Port Harcourt.
Good morning, my good young lady. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my name is Reginald Victor from Port Harcourt.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I have this little contribution.
Yes, please.
Whenever we see our government-run expenses, as if where the money is picked on the roadside, it bleeds my heart. In this present administration of our President, Bola Tinubu, they have spent 21 billion to just build a residential for vice president. Falana was talking on one of your channels, either TVC or Arise. As our president came in, right from that very moment he was sworn in, first thing he did was to remove a subsidy. And Falana himself was talking. In this 1 year, President Tinubu has spent 54.5 trillion, not the trillion, on subsidy. I begin to ask, where is that money coming from? If our leaders have us to heart, man, I remember years back in Nigeria when we don't have airlines at all, there was this Virgin Air. The British Prime Minister flies on Virgin Air, owned by the country, Virgin, that was owned by the private from Virgin Air. Now, right on your screen, as you are seated here, as we are talking, I am seeing federal government spend 14.77 billion in 11 months to fly private jets. Man,
Maintenance.
it bleeds my heart and I cry. Are they actually leading people, or they are leading them and themselves and their pockets? If a president leader cannot take, cannot have consideration, we are the first infrastructure. Anytime Nigeria mentions infrastructure, it bleeds my heart.
All right.
The
Thank you very
human
much,
beings
Victor.
are the first infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor, for your opinion. You know, some would argue that this is our president, and the jet is the property of Nigerians, not Mr. Tinubu or not even anybody in government. It belongs to Nigerians, and this is a jet that is required. But the other argument, which is also very valid, is that our naira is depreciating.
Yeah.
Our economy cannot handle that kind of expenditure at this time, especially you need dollar. It's not my Nigerian naira you're going to transact with. It is still the same dollar you're going to transact with.
Exactly.
So it's just which one do we prioritize? I think somebody talked about priority. How do we prioritize which is important at this time? Because if you don't pay for, as Mariam also said, if you don't pay for it today, it's only going to get more expensive. So there's some costs that we just have to face or choose not to face. Because there's never a good time. There's never, even if the economy gets better, people will still argue that it's only a time.
I don't agree with the idea of it to get more expensive, and so we don't do. We should do it now. You cannot do what you cannot afford now because it will get expensive tomorrow. What you should do is prepare for the more expensive approach tomorrow. There was a time in my life I could not buy a car when it was 300,000 naira to buy a car. When it was 1 million to buy a car, I couldn't afford to buy it. It has become more expensive, but I could buy it because I had increased as a person, my financial ability. So the government is struggling to buy something now because the government has not increased in its financial ability to the capacity where they can buy it with ease. So the goal is, how do we expand our income as a government to justify the expenditure that we feel is essential for our country? Right now, we have not been able to get that justification from those people that are saying, let's buy. What we are hearing is, we need it. Let's squeeze ourselves and buy it, as opposed to saying, we have created room. We've made these savings, and by saving money in this place and this place, we are able to ensure we buy and afford this. So that, for me, is extremely important. This country, we run Nigeria like this. Nigeria is always going to be there, but we are going to die. So let us not die now. Let's not die now. Let's die later.
I think that's a very valid point. Let me take this call from Mr. Bond. Good morning, Mr. Bond. You're live.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. All right. I just want to make a contribution regarding this new jet we're trying to purchase from Mr. President. I just want to, let me just give an example. You in your home, in your family, You probably have some old vehicles, and you look at the situation, the economy, look at the family income at the moment. You know, it's not convenient to go get a brand new vehicle at the moment. You have the children's school fees, you have to provide food, you have, you know, to take care of other issues that have to do with healthcare and all of that. And you find that this should not be the priority now. So you have to instead refurbish the old existing vehicle and make it serviceable, you know, just to be able to balance the family need. And what I see in Nigeria is because we don't tend to have responsibility over the affairs of Nigeria. So anything can happen. Let me tell you what's happening in Nigeria. They see Nigerian affair, Nigerian asset as a nobody's business. That's our jet that we are saying is unserviceable now. I'm telling you, if they auction it to individuals, the same politicians, that jet will become serviceable, and that jet will last more 2 decades or more. And the truth is, nobody cares. Look at our refinery. So it's not the question of being unserviceable. The truth is that Nigerian asset belongs to nobody. So we don't manage it. As far as we are concerned, when it becomes our property, then we'll now know how to fix it. That is the challenge we have in Nigeria. And I tell you now, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. I know that during Buhari's time, they tried to sell a couple, and they were unable to sell these.
Promised
But
he was going to.
He was going to sell them, but for whatever reason, they were unable to sell them. So it's not everybody. Maybe some of these things are not even sellable. They're not even worthy to be resold. But let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue and open our phone lines for more comments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.